Don Stanley here with Results for You and with your trusted construction leadership coach, Ken Collins. And we are here today to answer some questions to help you maximize how your organization is run. And we're going to be talking about personality profiles and in particular, DISC and DISC assessment. So Ken, as somebody who's done this a lot as certification, what is DISC?
Well, Don, DISC is a personality assessment that helps outline and confirm and validate some of our behavioral traits that we possess. There's no pass or fail. We're all unique individuals. And so DISC allows us a starting point to understand ourselves and who we are. That is the launching pad for understanding our abilities in a leadership role, whether it's as parents or people in our community or within our businesses. And so DISC is essentially an acronym for the 4 quadrants that are prominent in human behavior styles: dominant, inspiring, steady, and conscientious. Now, while there's 4 quadrants, Don, I should add that there's 48 combinations of those quadrants. And so in an era of how we label things, I'm not a fan for labeling. We may be predominant in 1 or 2 of those DISC quadrants, but we move around in all 4. And then because we're human beings, there's 48 different combinations of all 4. And so that makes us very unique, and why this makes DISC a basis for self-awareness and understanding others.
And the reason that the personality profiles are important, coming from somebody like you who has experience in lots of different leadership roles within an organization, can you talk a little bit about why that's important to know that?
Yeah, in my several roles within businesses, one of them is executive and high potential coaching. And so I use DISC as a basis. Let's first take a look in the mirror and understand who we are and our abilities and strengths, and where we could maybe be complementary with other individuals. We tend to always look at the differences all the time as a society. But really, for us to expand our level of influence in leadership, if we could surround ourselves with complementary personality styles that makes us greater as a whole, our level of influence just exponentially increases on all levels.
Absolutely. And I think that's really important too, because I heard of something recently about the number one reason people stay with a company as an employee, and HR costs of finding and retaining employees, is a lot. But the number one reason that people stay is the opportunity to grow within an organization and feel like part of something. So I would think that with those personality, knowing that and playing to people's strengths, that makes them feel more apart, and you reduce your HR costs and increase productivity, et cetera. Is that accurate?
Oh, yeah. And here's why it's important, not only to the individual, but to organizations. As you climb the career ladder, each rung that you go up in the ladder, it's less about your technical ability and becomes more about your interpersonal skills and people skills, because you're more in a leadership role, oversight of people, and you no longer are getting the work done on your own. You're getting the work done through others. So this is why it's very important in organizations to build their leadership lid, so to speak, because the business will never outperform that leadership lid. And so if you've got a whole fleet of people, so to speak, in your organization, you're going to do wonderful things.
There. And with that in mind, so this DISC profile helps you or the company and the leaders in the company get a sense of who their people are and what their strengths are. But there's lots of different personality assessments that are out there. So why do you use DISC with your coaching and consulting?
That is a real good question. Yeah, there's Myers-Briggs out there. There's Strengths Finders. Yeah, there's many tools. I've used DISC for over 20 years in a number of facets, not just for personality assessments. But here's why I've hooked my wagon, so to speak, to this. And again, the benefits to the individual and the organization, because I keep both in mind when I prepare content or look to develop partnerships with tools such as DISC. And so here's the big reason. Today we're in an age of information overload. We've got information coming up through us, right now on our cell phone, we're getting notices. And so what I like about DISC is it's brief, straight to the point, and simple. People can remember it, Or if you ask people about Myers-Briggs and Strength Finders, yeah, they can kind of at a very high level scratch what the results were, but can't go very in depth. Mm-hmm. And so DISC is a quick snapshot in this era of information overload where if you want to read more, you can, but this brief snapshot gives you real good understanding. And here's what I like about it the most. So because it's simple and can be retained and repeated, you develop a cultural language quicker. Mm-hmm. Because it's not so much about creating leadership with one individual, but creating a leadership culture. And so it's not uncommon over the years for me to just kind of smile when I walk through companies' environments and things like that and hear people talking DISC talk. Because again, it's memorable and then it resonates. And so when something like this becomes cultural, you've really maximized the potential of the tool to develop a fleet of leadership talent.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because having taken a DISC assessment several times throughout my careers, I can think of how I need to reframe stuff for myself. It helps me understand how to work better. So it's kind of cool that you say that people share that within the organization with each other. And I would assume that creates better chemistry between people to know how to communicate with certain individuals, so that, you know, you're customizing the way you're leading them to them and to their way of understanding. And so that's really cool.
No, and one of the traits of strong leadership is take the complex and turn it simple so that people can understand, retain, and then most importantly, apply. Mm-hmm. And the other reason too, I like this cultural language, Don, is this isn't all about professional either. Interpersonal skills expand beyond professional. It goes into community and also right to the kitchen table. Mm-hmm. So with the DISC cultural language, you can have those discussions at the kitchen table. This helps build your interpersonal skills at home and within your family. And again, because of simplicity and the easily retained, people go, oh, I got it. I get it.
Absolutely.
You can have those conversations around the kitchen table very seamlessly. And that's a powerful thing as well.
Well, I would think that with kids, having this too would be really, you know, you might say, why am I not getting through to this kid? And you get the assessment with them. Maybe you can understand better why you're not getting through, because maybe the communication style and strategy you're using doesn't resonate with them. So that's a great idea. I really, really like that.
Well, you know, maybe we're straying a little bit, but one of the hardest things we'll ever do as an individual is be a parent. There's no 4-year degree for parenting. We learn on the fly. And especially, Don, you might be referring to, and we've all been there, those teen years where independence starts to come, and we as parents maybe manage our children more than maybe lead them. Mm-hmm. And so this DISC language and understanding with the different people, around the kitchen table, and as we know, they're all under the same roof. They all hear the same things, morals and ethics, but they're all uniquely different. And so look at the power and the assistance this tool could give you as a parent in adapting your style to those other styles.
Absolutely. So one final question as we wrap up this episode. So what are other ways that you've used to maximize creating a greater level of understanding, a greater chemistry within teams and organizations?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's something that's highly popular within my business right now. As I interact with construction companies. And what's kind of interesting about that is, you know, construction is very task orientated and driven to accomplish things and deliver the goods on a deadline and produce a building or a street or a bridge. Interpersonal skills aren't a natural strength there. And so what's interesting to me, the construction industry is really embracing what you have just asked, and that is not only a personality assessment to create self-awareness, but also then I have tools that allow us to look at ourselves as a team, whether it's a department or a project, or even the organization as a whole. I've even done some executive boards where I pulled the personality assessments, the individual ones together to take a look at what is our personality as a team. Mm-hmm. Now, why is that important? As everyone knows, in today's business environment, collaboration is key. And it not only is it key, it's desired. Employees want to contribute to the organization. And so what could we do with our level of influence if we understood as a team not the differences. And I'm going to underscore that again, not the differences, but understand the uniqueness each member brings to the table and how they can contribute to the team as a whole. And then not only having that self-awareness, but now an awareness of what the teams can bring to the table. And I'll tell you this, there's a lot of energy behind this and understanding, because again, it does come back to the kitchen table as well. There's no greater team than that.
Yes.
What's unique in construction is, in most cases in the traditional model of general contractor and several subcontractors, is we're one of those unique businesses that we don't even know who our team is going to be when it's time to go to a project. And so this isn't just understanding internal teams, but how do we understand the different personality styles in this team that's assembled based on the bid and the price and the duration of the project, but deliver all the goods in a timely fashion? Understanding all your team members can be highly effective in being efficient and executing well and keeping those personality dust-ups in check. There's more of an understanding rather than a critique and a criticism of what's going on.
Very interesting. Yeah, I think that's a great point. And perhaps we'll dig deeper in a future episode on that, is how when you're getting these almost like free agent teams thrown together on each project, how do you make sure that the client ends up happy, that the people who are working with you feel fulfilled and bring their best every day to their work, and you're able to, to deliver? Because I think that would be a very unique challenge.
No, and in closing, Don, and we can elaborate on future podcasts here, but most businesses and people have done a personality assessment for organizations and associations. And then after they're completed, it's like, okay, now what?
Yeah.
And so I try to address the now what. And so this team report and workshop is very, very effective. This has several branches too, because clients are part of the team. What could your business do if you had a greater self-awareness of the different styles of clients? And if you could better connect with those, what could be the breadth of your client base? So that's just a tidbit of more things that can come out of this.
Excellent. Well, hopefully you, the listener, found this of value. If you did, make sure to reach out to us, share it out as well. The goal here with this Results for You Leadership Show is to help businesses and individuals grow and become great leaders within their organization, increase purposefulness and profitability as well. So we'll plan on connecting with next episode. Thanks so much, Ken, for the insights. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Everyone, stay curious out there.